Well, here we are again. The rifle's had enough time to settle and I'm starting to get it ready for breaking out of the bedding. The first thing I want to do, after taking off the bungees, is to remove our ferrules here. We don't want them interfering as we're trying to remove this. It takes quite a bit of force to remove it anyway. Okay, this next part of the job requires considerable force. We're going to be breaking the barrel action out of the stock, so we need to take precautions to make sure that nothing gets damaged during this process. I'm going to be holding the forestock in this hand here with my fingers just gently gripping the barrel, but with quite good pressure through here because we don't want to lose the whole thing. And at the rear I've got the buttstock resting on the blanket, and the rubber of the recoil pad is in contact with the blanket so that there's not too many vibrations down the end. Now place a rag over the barrel and take a block or a mallet. In this case, because I'm from Taranaki, I'm using a fence batten. And you need to strike the barrel with considerable force to shock it out of its bedding. There we go, done. As you can see, it's coming apart. So now I'll gently walk this out of the stock. Okay, so there we have it, one perfect bedding job. The next step is going to be to grind all of this to shape. They look really messy when you first open them up, but as far as I can see, the job's turned out absolutely fantastic. Okay, so what I'm doing now is removing as much of the plasticine as I possibly can. I'm actually just using the squared off knife from yesterday. Because it's got such a blunt end, it can get in there, it won't scratch anything up. Need to remove the plasticine first before we go actually shaping the bedding. Okay, so what I'm using here is a matchstick stone for this Metabo grinder. If you're using hand tools, you're going to be using a chisel and files and needle files. But I'm going to be using power tools, and these will be matchstick stones and poly rolls. What I'm doing now is just relieving any points that could create stress to the bedding. So these edges here, they need to be fined down with a needle file. You want to check right down in each of these corners here and make sure you've got no tape left behind. Okay, so I've cleaned up the action and I've put it in for a trial fit. And what I'm checking for now is any pinch points. I want this barreled action to come in and out of the stock smoothly, but once it's down I don't want it to be flopping around. So we can check here, that's just a perfect fit without any grease lubricant on it. Out again, perfect. And then when it's down, we don't want to see there's no movement there at all, nothing. So that is as good as it gets as far as bedding goes. There's nothing more we can do to make this rifle any more accurate in that area, providing that all of our relief points are taken care of. Right, I've refitted the trigger assembly and greased up the action and greased up the bedding. Now it's time to assemble everything. I want to also grease the magazine spring, because that's an area that's prone to rust. Just bear in mind the purpose of the grease isn't because the bedding compound causes rust. It's because 400 series stainless does have a level of carbon in it. These ones aren't particularly high carbon, but they still have a level of carbon in them. So we need to make sure that in adverse weather conditions, if we have water trapped in there, it's going to stay nice and clean. Well, that's it. Job done. Time for me to go and put my feet up, pour myself a bourbon and coke. Hope you enjoyed watching bedding a rifle with MatchGrade bedding products. MatchGrade was designed and tested here in New Zealand by myself. We export these products all the way around the world. If you want to have a look at any of these products, please go to www.ballisticstudies.com If you go to the shopping area, you'll see the stabiliser compound and the bedding compound. Also, if you have a look through the articles, you'll see more about instructions for fitting both of these compounds, and there's also other helpful how-to articles regarding rifle accuracy. Okay, good luck.